my desk, I know it goes out. So I apologize for those of you who got here without seeing the notice, and I appreciate that. And we're a little bit leaner than what we normally are, so that's my fault, so I'll make sure next time I go ahead and set out the meeting notice before I leave town. Charlie, you want to come in on me? Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Miller, president of VBA Chapter 1067, will lead us in the invocation.
Let us pray. Lord, our Heavenly Father, help us to just pause just for a moment to thank you for the opportunity that you give us to serve you as well as serve mankind. We thank you for the desire that you give each one of us to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice in the Vietnam War, as well as our comrades that are yet struggling to make ends meet. And Father God, bless our leadership of this organization, bless our community, bless our donors, and especially those that give of themselves to make sure that this wall, that hill, is a success. Lord, when it's all said and done, we promise to give you the praise and glory for all that you do for us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Charlie. A couple of quick announcements. These flyers are over there. I've got a box, almost half full. Take what you need. Also, I've got these cards right here, and I'm going to pass these around. Take one. Everyone needs to have one of these. No, I'm not sure. I'll walk over here. Make sure everyone has one of these cards, okay? This is a good information card. It has all the information you need about it, something that you can put in your wallet. So I'm going to start it over here and then let it go all the way through. I have some up here if you want to take some back to your individual units. This has all the information as to how many names are on the wall, et cetera, et cetera. So Pete, if you would, stop that down. Just take one and pass it down. And like I said, there's more over here. Let's see, what else? Badges. If you would turn your badge in when you leave, because if you don't, then I don't have one made up for you when you come back. Okay, so I don't want to reprint out each time. So if you would turn your badges in upon leaving, and we'll be good to go. It'll be here for you next time. And next time is our last meeting. So, okay, with that, let's see, next slide, please.
Date, John, next meeting.
Thank you.
Date, John, next meeting date?
Next meeting date is, hold on. I've got it. On the last page, it's October 19th. You guys don't see this, but it'll come up there. But I'll also send it out in the flyer. So the 19th of October, it's Friday right here. And being the 19th of October, and the wall arrives on the 30th of October, so you can see we're cutting it tight, okay? But things are going well. I want to compliment each and every one of you for doing a great job. As far as I know, from where I stand, everything is running smoothly. I know it's like the old analogy about the duck. The duck is nice and calm on top of the water, but his feet or whatever, paddling wildly underneath, okay? But they're all doing a great job. I'm very pleased with the progress that we've made thus far. I know we're going to have a successful program, and it's going to be huge. We've got a lot of moving parts here. But each one of you, as a professional, you get the job done, we focus, and then this thing is going to be fantastic. So, yes, sir. Okay, next slide. Okay, Dave Carney is out for back surgery on September 18th. Jennifer and Megan, is Megan here? Megan? No, I don't see Megan here. Okay, anyways, they're going to be taking over for David. So undoubtedly David's not here, so he is home resting, getting ready for his surgery. Let me see, Chaplain Jim Henderson. Okay, Chaplain Jim Henderson is going to go into surgery. He is having heart surgery on the 19th, so please keep all these guys in your prayers. And our good friend Pete right here has been struggling to pass a 7mm kidney stone for the past month. So if you come by, give a pat on the back and wish him well, and speedy healing, so he'll be ready to go when the program begins, so.
Punch him with a kidney, huh?
Yeah, so Pete's gonna be walking softly but carrying a big stick, so. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, one more meeting, okay, and that's for November 1st. The meeting is not November 1st, that's when, we kick it off. That's the official opening of the wall and whatnot. But we've got a whole schedule coming up that we're gonna review. The wall actually will be, we'll be escorting the wall in on October 30th. We'll be assembling the wall on the 31st, and then that will be the soft opening. And then on the 1st, that's the official opening day. So, anyways, one more meeting, so, and I'll get the meeting notice out this time. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. And Norm, you're up. And folks, if you, especially out in back, if you got something to say, use the microphones, just tap the button so we can go ahead and hear you. Okay, very good. Thank you, Norm.
Good morning. Next slide. We'll be quick today. John talked a little bit about a change. This is the operations team, and so at this point in time, with communications moving over to us, a lot's not going to change. They're going to continue to do. Megan and Jennifer are going to continue, but the guy in charge now that handles the heat at the top letter helps with the budget management. Arlen, you want to stand up? That's Arlen Busk. He's the new Dave Carney from management perspective, but the gals are doing that. They always wear the paddles underneath the water there anyway, and I know better than to mess with Jennifer, so, okay, next slide. He's already covered that. One of the benefits here, I'll just go real quick, with all that we're doing with signage, all that we're doing with creating some documents, and like over the operations, I'm always sitting there saying, God, we got to push the PAO and the arsenal and get some soldiers and all that. So anyway, now that they're involved, they said, shut up, we got it, we'll handle it. So all the media stuff coming up and just a tremendous amount of stuff. So anyway, I'm glad to have them as part of the team, and we're going to support them. Next slide. All right, a couple changes on this chart. If you look up here in the yellow, the government, do we have any government folks here today? City? Yeah, welcome, good morning. Do you work for David? Any of you know about the asphalt? All right, well, if I say anything wrong, let me know, but my understanding is right now, one of the options, instead of grass in here and a path, is to just go ahead and make this not a street depth size of asphalt, but it'll be an asphalt cart path floor, if you will, on here, and that would be wonderful. Everything we're doing is handicap. We're making absolutely sure what we do is supportive of the handicap. The other thing is we had a meeting with the parking folks. Now, originally we were going to have some parking down here, and we still are. This is for staff parking and for the events that take place in the JC building, especially on the 3rd of November. But after talking with our brethren in the parking business, and they do it for a living, they said we would like to have all the buses and everything staged here. We want the majority of the parking here. When the students need to be picked up, there'll be someone with a radio down here, and they will tell us, and we'll send a bus down. But as a result of parking more folks here in that huge Davis Stadium complex there, I was able to get them. We have 3 of these 6-passenger gas-operated carts, and they'll be operating a lot during the day, and 3 electric carts. So anyway, they will be shuttling folks both directions here as they're needed. So that's one change. The other change, we've got power now back down here below the service road. The city is telling me that then we can run it across into these, which gets us away from generators, because generators are sometimes noisy, as you well know. We went over and looked at the benches. There are 8-foot benches. There's a couple here in blue. Ricky is our lot guy. Him and his wife are going to take care of putting some nice covers on the back of these. There's 3 here and 3 more over here. Again, at nighttime, I've seen those pictures where the veterans go out in the evening and they just want some private time. And some of them will go over and just, lay down on the park bench, and we want to accommodate that. Arlen Buss working the POWMAI table. We'll have a little candle on there. We're still working on wreaths. Those organizations, if you know of an organization that wants to put a wreath out behind the POWMIA table, you got to let me know. There's not going to be a big to-do. It's going to be a very quiet, very solemn, whatever organization wants to do that. We'll do that on the 2nd and 3rd of November. Let's see. That's really about it. We're working the signage, like I said. Down here, the JC folks, they tell me there's a potential for a USO van to come in, and that'll be staged down there. And the last thing I'll say to you is what we're doing in terms of any vendors. There's a couple of these trucks that come with coffee, lunch, snacks. Will be coming in at the right time down here, food truck, if you will, during the shift turnover. Right now, we're looking at 35 to 40 volunteers per shift during the day. Daytime shifts are considered to be 8 in the morning to 8 at night. And then from 8 at night to 8 in the morning again is around 13 to 14, something like that. And half of that is our security team at this point. Upcoming, go to the next slide. Just a couple more things here. We had a meeting yesterday with David DeLisser of the city, and that was to iron out on the lock side just a tremendous amount of detail. You were talking about there's so much in the log area, just simple things, getting down to cords and CFI, the tents, the heaters, how many tents the city provides, and how many do I have to contract, and fire extinguishers, and meeting the fire code, and filling out permits, and on and on and on and on. I'm not doing that by myself. I don't mean to tell you that. We've got a good team in place that's helping us, but the city has done a tremendous job in supporting us. Their parking team has relieved us of all responsibility during the day for volunteers. So that freed up some volunteers we can place elsewhere. And they will be on site from 8 to 8, or as David said, they'll be there when we need them, but we're figuring by 8 at night, that'll be long enough. Working the permits, both for the travel from the Harley-Davidson, Redstone Harley-Davidson, to the John Hunt Park, and as well as the site itself. David's going to schedule a meeting with law enforcement, and Ralph and I, right guys, will go over and meet the captain over there after they get a chance to go through the paperwork that is pending right now, the permit itself. The grounds itself, we're going to have some water for our operations headquarters there, a little hospitality area in there, and there's a company called S&D. They're going to provide us coffee, the stirrers, the cups, the machine to heat the water. I just have to work with the city on getting potable water, and not through a garden hose, over to that. And you'll also be able to get hot chocolate there as well, just in case November turns out to be a little bit cold. So that meeting, those two meetings haven't taken place yet. I told you about the park benches, and we had that in our budget, so there's a cost avoidance for us, and we won't have to do. What was it, $400 or $500 there?
Oh, it's almost 1,000.
1,000, okay. In terms of training, Pete and John, the next all hands, part of that is going to be general training for everybody here. The things I'm talking about are, what do you do if there's a bomb threat? How we're going to notify everybody involved about there's a tornado, bad weather, the city is closing the site, active shooter, where the first aid is, what to do if you need the police, all those kind of things that all volunteers should know. And the slides that we use next time will also be used when they give a security briefing, or Al teaches the headquarters how to issue a vehicle, okay? So anyway, I think the next one we should plan on being a 2-hour and portion of that, John, next all hands. And that'll just leave us. Also, there's those folks that are working with the students. You have to sign an attestation form, I think that's the way you say it, which simply says I'm not a felon, all right? Not everybody has to, just those that know they're going to be working as a guide or working with the students. Al has been working on the volunteer guide. We're going through the final stages of getting through Jennifer, which is not always easy, so that we can post it out there, and then when the volunteers want to see what's the responsibilities and details that they need to know, some of which I just talked about, they're going to be in that guide. And we've already talked about the communications. Yeah.
Quick question there. You're back on. What's the estimated publication date for the guide?
Couple weeks?
At most, as soon as we get it edited.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
On the website?
Yep. on the
Yeah,
website.
you'll be able to get it on the website and download it. We're trying to avoid killing more trees.
Roger, thank you.
Okay, great. All right, any questions so far? I'm gonna try and get you out of here early.
What, you said it, but I think I missed something. On the no daytime volunteers needed under parking, you're still gonna want the volunteers to drive those carts, yes?
Yes,
Okay, so the people that
Yeah.
signed up for parking will just be driving carts or something during the
Yes.
day? Got it.
yeah. Yeah, you will have plenty to do if you're driving a car. All righty? Now, by the way, I just want to mention this in case it doesn't get mentioned later. There is a lot of in-kind support being given to this project. We want the name and the logo. So if you know of something went on that you did, get it to us. Get it to myself, or get it to Jennifer, or get it to Arlen. Any one of us on my team will take that. So we're still trying to figure out how to do the banner that gives recognition as they walk into the entrance. Either they sponsored us through monetary support, or they sponsored us in kind, like S&D Coffee. They don't want anything from us. They're not gonna, we're not have to pay for anything. The cart company, Diamond Cart Rental down there, they've cut tremendous, cut the bill down. Lowe's has cut the bill down, I think, 45%. They've given us stuff at cost. So we're thinking maybe two banners, one for those that do in-kind support and those that paid money, just to keep that clean because of silver and gold and, that kind of stuff. But we don't want to offend anybody, so you could really help us with that. Next slide. Communications team. I'm gonna turn it over here to Arlen, and is he allowed to talk, Jennifer? Oh, okay. All right, Arlen, you got the green light.
I got a question before you go any further. How are you going to designate people that are volunteers? You're going to have a hat, a shirt, a vest, a lanyard, or what? How do we designate people that like to work in security, other volunteer positions?
I'll take it. All right, several ways. Everybody's going to be badged. That's the first way, all right? That's the most significant way. Certain team members will be wearing vests. The lemon lime, orange, you'll stand out. Security's wearing orange hats. And some of the chaplains are wearing black hats. Beyond that, it's the lanyard because some of the folks that are part of the Vietnam chapter want to wear their vest and very distinctive. What color is that? It's gold, I guess. They'll be on the wall, but the key thing is the lanyard. They're going to be nice lanyards with, John's on order. We're spending almost $1,000 in that area, so.
Okay.
All right, sir?
Yep.
Well, when Dave Carney had stepped down from communications, Norm decided that I didn't have enough to do in ceremonies, and so he let me have communications as well.
You're welcome.
So I'm in the drinking from the fire hydrant mode, trying to figure out what all the dynamic duo has got going on. And Jennifer and Megan are just phenomenal. Could not ask for a better pair to work with. And Jennifer has been doing a lot with both the website and now the Facebook event page, and I'm going to let her discuss both.
Not much has really changed. We're just, let's see if we can pull up here real quick. Continuing on with the plan that we had. Over the next 2 months, we would be pushing out more and more communication anyway. Just in the last few days, I got the event page official through the Facebook page set up, so you can go on there now and you can, click that you're interested in going, share it. If you're on Facebook or social media, please keep sharing things. We have a bunch of posters, flyers, everything else that can go out to. We will pull the slides back up. This one. That one? Yeah, yes. So I'm still building out more of the website. We're adding more and more pages. So one of the new ones will be directions. So people that are coming from out of town will have a clear guide into John Hunt Park. You can GPS it, but the address may not get you exactly where you need to be. So continuing to push out on social media, the website. Megan is reaching out to handle all the media relations, And we're working closely with APT and everybody else around here. You'll see it on TV, radio, newspapers, probably some magazines as well. Just keep talking about it, keep sharing it, and we'll try to get as many people as we can. Yes.
Hey, as a hosting organization, initially David did a letter, and I signed that letter to the religious community, to other veteran organizations. Do you have a copy of that communication? Because some people hadn't gotten that letter.
Yes, we have a copy of it.
Okay, can I get that, please?
Certainly.
Okay.
And that's it. Yeah.
All right. Now, another member of the team that's pushing information out to organizations that we haven't tapped before, Major Moran.
Hi, how's everybody doing? Just wanted to let you know, Major Brian Moran from DCMA Huntsville. I've met with Army Material Command Protocol and Public Affairs this last week. They're very aware of this event and have a plan to push out information and conduct a Redstone rocket article in the future. So they're tracking this event, they're putting it out, the information on post through the Garrison meeting, and there is a strategic communications plan in place. Additionally, coordinated with Meadow Hunters have been Mike Rose. He is going to be going to the St. Barbara's Day Ball, which is at the end of October, and we would like to invite all the artillerymen and air defense artillerymen to this ball. I have a flyer here on the table with all the details. It has the 5 W's with the website to register, and we would really love to have all the Vietnam artillery vets and 88 vets there to help us celebrate that event. I'll continue to engage various organizations to inform them about the event, and I'm real happy to be a part of the team. Thank you.
Sorry, I forgot to mention, I brought an iPad and a laptop today, so if anybody wants to sign up to volunteer, to donate, to join the newsletter on the website, I will have a couple of ways we can do that right here before you leave, so we don't have to worry about remembering that later.
Do we have any questions for communication?
Just John has provided some copies of stuff that you can take and ask businesses to give out. They're very happy. You see the different sizes, or several different sizes there. We have more of that stuff, right, Jennifer?
Yes, a bunch in my trunk.
We have a lot of it, so don't hesitate to let us know. If there's not enough there, we got some out in the car. Okay, Jennifer, next slide. Okay, Al, you want to hit the highlights? Just, we got to do quick on this one.
There are really no significant changes from the last meeting. I'll let y'all scan down through there. There is a luncheon on the 30th of October. It's a by-invitation luncheon. I believe John might talk about that later. We're at I believe it's the Redstone Federal Credit Union. And next slide. Again, no change to this slide. Next slide, please. Ralph?
Okay, we're doing real good on our security shifts. We got all the daylight hours covered from 08 to 2000 each day. We have some night shifts that we need to get covered. And I think probably the Sergeant Major out there on Redstone can probably get some of them good troops to volunteer to come out there and support those shifts at night. We've got Junior ROT supporting. We have A&M ROTC supporting. We've got a number of veterans groups that are going to be supporting. And we have a few individuals scattered throughout the various shifts as well. So, but if you can pull together 4 to 6 people and volunteer for a shift, get a hold of me. I've got some extra sheets for that information. I'll give you one and then get back with me. Thank you.
Next slide, please. John?
Take over.
Okay, good morning, everybody.
John, you're this?
Good morning.
Oh, okay.
Real quickly, if you look up on the screen, this is 36%.
Yeah.
You can see it's 36%, and that was done earlier this week, like on Tuesday. And this morning I ran the report just before, and we was at 39% at that point. But last night our chapter meeting, I had 31 people to sign up. I've got to get their names in there. That's going to take us all the way up to 48%, which is pretty good, phenomenal right now. I think we're really on target to try to hit the numbers that we're looking at and try to get there. And I think Ralph forgot to mention, you're at 75%? Yeah. So volunteers are starting to roll in. And we knew it was going to be like a hockey stick effect, where we slow there at first. Now the frenzy's going to start here at the end of it. And we're going to be really, hopefully we're going to be swamped. And I really believe that that's going to be true. Unlike Ralph, we still have openings in the nighttime hours that we're going to be needing. And I'll get more detailed information out and send it on out to the court and get it distributed out as we need necessary. Other than that, that's all I've got.
Yeah, just a different view of things. If a company wants to bring 5 or 6 of their folks in, we welcome that. As we get closer now, I know the PAO is going to do a lot for us over there on the Arsenal, spread the word, Skip Vaughn, our own sharing of posters and so forth. But what we're looking at doing is possibly calling up some of the companies that have a lot of dollars in the game and say, hey, you want to put some skin in the game? Here's where we need some help. But I feel very good about where we are, and you've done a good job, John. And thanks to all of you too. But they got to go out to the website, anybody who wants to sign up, or give them my name or John's, and we'll be glad to talk to them as well. Some people are just afraid of technology, going out there.
Norm?
Yes, sir.
About the city's gonna give us parking passes for the staff, so they'll get a lanyard and then a parking pass to park at the JC.
Rick is just saying, when we get to the point when you come to work volunteering down there, you'll have a parking pass to get in there. We're going to take care of all that. All righty? Any questions so far?
Yeah, where will the parking pass get you to? To the JC parking lot.
The parking lot for the staff is at the JC building. Now, you can still park up in the other one if you want to and walk down, or you take the shuttle down that we have there. That's fine too. And by the way, if you were to go over there today in the JC parking lot, it's still all torn up. And David said that everything's on schedule. In the next few weeks, that place is going to come into its own. So, all righty?
That parking pass is going to be for all volunteers? They'll get one for the JC building, or just the people volunteering in the JC building?
No, it's parking for all volunteers, right. And there'll be VIP parking down there as well for those that ZIG and team say, they need to park. We'll also have an area up in the Joe Davis Stadium for VIP and handicap as well. That's the end of the operations update, John.
Good. Laura from Education is up.
Along with my tickets. Good time.
The
Yes,
tickets
so
get
demo.
referring to are the passes
Right,
for students.
Meals. Good morning. Education has a lot to report. We have over 1,200 students have signed up today. And we're not done. We still have a few slots, but they're for the slots where the students don't get back to school by 3 o'clock. So, yes, I agree. It's a lot to keep track of. What was just handed to me is all the meal tickets for these students. So what's happening is that I now know my meal count for the first, and I know my meal count for the second. Chick-fil-A, which has to have their logo out of it, because they're giving us 1 day in kind, and I have to pay for the second day. So if you know anyone who wants to help pay a Chick-fil-A invoice with me, help please. Because that's going to be about $3,000, I'm estimating. So our largest quantity of students from one school is 410. So as those buses, there'll be 8 buses. So our size going through, you can take 410 divided by 8, and you know that they're gonna have every bus, every seat full. So when the volunteers help out on education, just estimate that you can have 52 students on your bus. Depending on the size of the kids, but 52 heads per bus. We are gonna have a bus come every 25 minutes. We have schools that are traveling over 2 hours one way to come be part of the event and then go back. So it is a large activity. We need lots of volunteers. We have the Painted Rock Project, which I will be going to the schools and delivering the base rock, which is the top cover, so the students can decorate it. We have the essay contest. The teachers are aware of it. Some have signed up, some have not. As we start to interact with the schools we have, we will be able to determine the size of the essay review committee that we're going to need. I think that's it for education. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Laura, would you please explain to us the flow of the students from the time they get off the bus until they get to the memorial itself? And what I'm really looking to understand is how much the students know about the war and the memorial before they get to the student guides at the memorial. Because there's no sense in the student guides at the memorial repeating what they've been told either at the JC building or at the briefing tent.
Okay. For the class material, what will they know? What's your first question?
Right.
Each teacher has developed their own core curriculum subject matter for the classroom. We have information on the website that's approved at the national level for education. So you can go to the website /educators with an S to see that material. What's also going up on the web is SIG's posters. And that's because we have ADA compliance that we have to adhere to. Some of the students have visual issues. So we're bringing it down so they can print extra large copies or bring it up on their computer. So the posters will be made available to the students. And like I said, teachers can add. So Zig has put together these thick documents, and I have a copy of each one that's in editing right now, which has a lot of detailed information. Should a volunteer want that additional information to be prepared for the students, we can provide that. Okay, does that help? They're not going to be on their own.
Read all those documents now.
Right. Well, the big write-ups are not on the website yet. They are in editing.
I think your question is there at the beginning, they'll unload on the left side where the parking is, and there's a set of bleachers there, and the kids will be put in the bleachers so the teacher and everybody can have their group under control. And then they'll go down to the trailer and observe the trailer. There's also rubbing materials and paper there if that's required. And then they'll go visit the wall. And then they'll leave the wall and go to the JC building. And if the teacher wants to go to the Veterans Museum, they can walk up there.
No, the Veterans Museum is not available to the students. That was determined early on.
So
So,
go to the JC building, and then they'll call for the bus, and they pick them up. The bus will come around and pick them up. Okay, so they go to the memorial before they go to the JC building. Correct.
so how the education is informing this, the students get dropped off on the bus. Then there will be, where we'll collect the students as they come off the bus. I don't want students not moving as a group. So we are gonna have the students come off the bus, go to the stadium, wait till we have the full bus unloaded, show which indicator they're gonna follow for the day. So the volunteer will be holding an indicator that those students will know to follow. From there, then they will go to the trailer, which has a side A and a side B. They will get a overview of all of that, given 20 minutes will be spent at the trailer. From there, the students will then go through the archway into the wall. They will be in there for 20 minutes. And given the size of the wall, you know, if you're putting 52 students in there, it's going to be pretty sparse. My largest quantity that I will have at one time is 75. Even with the size of the wall, that won't crowd the wall for other visitors. From there, they will go to the JC's building, which they will go to the back room where Zig will have a tutorial for them. He'll give them a quick overview. It will be about 10 minutes long. And then 30 minutes to actually be out in the area of the JC building. They will, that's where the posters are, that's where the donut dollies are gonna be. That's where Zig's got hardware from the Veterans Museum. We are using material from the Veterans Museum over in the JC building. Therefore, we get to carry the banner of the Veterans Memorial, Veterans Museum, because they're already accredited by the school system. So that helps us in making sure that we have the proper accreditations for the students to come to. Outside the JC building will be, I believe, a helicopter and some other hardware that can't get in the building. Students will be allowed to go out and see that equipment while they're waiting to board the bus. They will board the bus, we will count heads, give the bus a go. And we have a departure time for that as well. So it's a very controlled event because we don't want students just going around.
Okay, follow-on question.
Yes.
I'll confess my ignorance first. I thought the student guides picked up the students only when they came to the memorial. But what
No.
you say is the student guides pick them up to the bleachers, and one student guide with one group goes through that whole experience you just outlined.
We might have one or we might have two volunteers.
Okay, fine. So, but it's a
They're
stick
gonna
with
pick-
them. You're their docent / mentor through that process.
Correct. You'll be holding the banner with the proper color, proper item. We're gonna make sure the students know which bus they come off of, and they're gonna be given a different item to follow. I've gotta work that part out next.
Right, okay, so, but the only place that there's not educational material already available that we will be exposed to is at the memorial itself. Is that accurate?
They will be getting at the trailer an overview of the wall.
Right.
Items that have been left at the wall. That's where they will pick up their rubbing materials and some other materials. Once they get into JC's building, Zig will also have material for them. He wants them to fill out a, kind of like take a test. So, he
Okay, so Laura, I'm trying to zero in on the time, the 20 minutes at the memorial.
Yes.
Is your concept that they remain in a group, or is your concept that they be let go to explore the memorial as they wish? Or
Let
some
them-
of both?
let them go.
Let them go.
Because there's the wreaths, there's the title, there's the names on the walls, for them, they've got to experience the wall. If I tried to keep them as a group, they wouldn't be able to experience the wall as a meaningful event for them.
Okay, what,
So
I
the
have some-
volunteer will be having a sign,
yeah,
and when it's time to go, they'll be moving their sign,
got it, okay.
you know, to tell them to come forward.
So, would there be an opportunity to relate to them some specifics about names on that wall?
they're coming with their own names that they're looking for? I mean,
Okay,
you know, if they're looking for their great uncle or some other relative, grandfather, you know, then they need to have time to go find that.
I figured out how.
Now,
Thank you.
in addition to the people leading the students, there's gonna be hopefully Vietnam veterans at the wall escorting people around. We're gonna have not only the kids there, we're gonna have the general public there.
I understand.
So we're gonna have,
I'm trying to zero in, Pete, on the
Wait,
responsibilities of the student guides.
right, student guides, which says takes them, but when you get into the wall, there'll be other people there to help talk with the kids. The kids tend to, in my opinion, form their little own subgroups. So there may be individuals who wanna go by themselves, or maybe smaller groups going by themselves. So you just gotta kind of ride herd on them. Now, at the, education center, that's primarily controlled by the VBMF people,
Understood.
Callie and them. They'll be presenting what's the wall's all about. So they'll be in addition to what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So, those Wall That Heal people that are gonna be at the education center, they're gonna be the ones that do all the briefings at that center, is that correct? The three Wall That Heal guides that I heard you talking about one day?
I believe Norm told me that there will be 2 BMF
Right, the 2 plus.
and 1 volunteer.
Right, but my question is.
So there'll be 3 presenters at one time on the trailer.
They will stay at the trailer. The plan is they will not escort the students to the wall.
Correct.
What are the duties of the 2 volunteers that sign up on the Sign Up Genius for that education trailer?
They are working in conjunction with the DC committee. Okay.
One slight, if I may, one slight change here, we don't need to go into too much detail here. We paid $8,000 to get this capability, right, and brought here to the wall. So there's 2 professionals that come, and they are gonna brief us immediately after the wall's erected. Now, they've told us they need 1 additional person from us, so we're looking at 3 folks that will do tours. Your tours are not just for the students, they're for anybody that shows up, including the church group and all that kind of stuff. We're augmenting what they do. The more we know and the more we understand and hear what they're, doing at the wall. But we're tailoring also the student time on the ground. And that's why she's talking about 20 minutes here and there. But once we meet with them, we'll know more about exactly, but we've really not had that conversation with them. But they're gonna be the pros that got all the answers. Is, 2 sides of the trailer, one side's got the wall of heroes, and the other side's got the map, with you can look up the names, and we're gonna help make all that happen as best we can. And, students are gonna have a lot of questions for you guys, gals, that served. And that's the value you bring to the table. Now, during the day, when they're busy doing other things, the more you know about what's going on. These are all great questions because I got church groups that are starting to call us, Boy Scout, Girl Scouts, and we're trying to arrange those times they come, like on Saturday, another closer to evening time with some of the church groups. And so there'll be plenty of opportunities for us to do the tours as well, because we're going to be inundated, I think. If we get 20 to 30,000 people like they did back in 2000, we're going to be very busy.
Okay, so there was an additional question. Are you okay? Okay. So the additional question was talking about ADA compliance. So we have students who have visual issues. We have students that have physical challenges and diminished mental capacity. So we do have, one of the things we are coordinating with the school is for ADA compliance and support. Right now, I do not have a requirement for a sign language interpreter, not yet. As I work with the schools and we actually get to learn more about the 1,200 students, we might need one. But right now, none of the teachers are declaring interpreters are needed. We've got all the physical and other aspects already covered. We have mitigation plans for those students. Any other questions? 100 students. Who's up next?
Laura, thank you very much. Laura's not.
Oh, wait, one more question?
Just one thing, are the teachers gonna explain to them their code of conduct around the wall?
That is in the orientation when they're at the bleachers. Okay, that's already been scripted in. Any other questions? I don't, Zig's
Who's
not
standing
here.
in for Zig
No,
today? Anybody?
I am.
Got there.
Okay, thank you, Laura, appreciate it. Okay, next slide, please. Zig is in Chicago. He is not here, so I'm gonna just kind of brief a couple things that he and I are working on. Next slide, please. Okay, we talked about interviews, the oral history interviews, okay, with Joe Galloway. Joe Galloway is coming down on the Sunday before. He will start the interviews on Monday morning. What we're gonna try to do is get the Medal of Honor recipients here first, because they're gonna be busy with the wall the entire week. We have submitted the names to the group in Washington, D.C. They will be calling the individuals and talking to them about their bio and scheduling the time. We are going to target doing 4 interviews per day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We've had such an outstanding response to our request. We're even looking at maybe doing a couple on Saturday. We've actually asked Joe to stay an extra day. He won't be leaving on Saturday. He'll be leaving on Sunday. We're still working on it, but just to let you know where we are. So those who have submitted their names to be interviewed, we're making forward progress on that. And hopefully by next meeting, we'll be able to give you a better update. Let's see, the location where the interviews are going to be held is going to be the Veterans Museum, which is going to be at that site. They have 2 locations within the building. They have the conference room. They also have the Air Force briefing room, which are 2 excellent rooms, which will provide plenty of room and everything for them to set up their equipment, to video and record the interviews. Keep in mind that all these videos or interviews will be going to the Library of Congress. So I'd like to know if they would share them with us, so maybe at a later date we can put them online. You can actually go to that site. I think I covered that. Yeah, next slide, please. The AFA up there is the Air Force Association. They have scheduled, and if you go to the next slide, please. I put these slides in here because I'm going to send them to you, and then this way you'll have the information. Jen, go to the next one. Okay, there's a flyer that's going around, and I have some copies over here if you'd like them. Those that are interested in going to the AFA luncheon. Joe Galloway is going to be talking at the luncheon. Joe Galloway, folks, I mean, when we had, the VA had their event last spring, Joe Galloway was a guest speaker. Joe Galloway is an excellent speaker. If you have an opportunity to sign up and go for lunch, lunch is $17.50. It's going to be over here at the credit union on the corner of Wynn and Bradford. And there's a contact person down there to get in touch with, Russ Lou. Contact him, let him know that you're coming. I think I think they're limited to like 70 seats. So get your, if you're interested, make your reservation early. And once again, I've got the flyers right here with all the information, so if you'd like that. So the previous slide added more information, more of the bio about Joe Galloway. And if you get an opportunity to review or look at the movie, We Were Soldiers Months, guaranteed you'll know all about Joe Galloway when you get done, okay? So next slide, please. Okay, I'm not going to go into detail about that, the same slide as last time, but that is the layout of the JC building. The JC building will be open the entire week, for you to go in. It will only be open from like 8 to 6 or something like that. It's not going to remain open 24 hours. But Zig and his crew have set up a tremendous amount of information, static displays and everything like that. I would recommend each one of you, if you get a chance, to go through there, spend some time there. It's going to be very educational. We will have the Huey from, the North Alabama Vietnam Pilots Association, the Huey on the right. We'll have some other static displays like an M114, I believe, and that's like an APC. And we'll have some other vehicles like a Deuce and a Half and stuff like that. So for those of you who have grandkids, and I know I'm the only one with grandkids, right? So those of you with grandkids want to take your kids down there, your grandkids down there, and show them the equipment, this is a great opportunity. So next slide, please. Okay, contact people, of course, is going to be Zig, who's the chairman, and I refer to it, and he does too, the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War lecture series, and we have this is our sixth year doing it. So Zig is carrying on this year, so we now brought it into the fold with Wall That Heals. So it's a kind of a 1-2 punch. If you're down there at the site, you have a whole bunch of stuff to see. You can spend a day, you can invite your families down, very educational. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, Ray, you're up.
Next slide, please. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Current income is $64,400. We've spent a little over $11,500. We have the $4,000 commitment for the other half of the $8,000 to rent the wall. So our current balance in the checking account is $48,844. We do have outstanding pledges of $44.50. They're trickling in. And so with that outstanding pledge, we've got $53,000 and change. Next slide, please. Boy, this got shrunk up somehow. Interesting. Budget. The blue is that is all. Okay. The red is actuals. The blue here is the budget. This green right here is the funding that we have in as of right now. That's 9% over budget. But don't forget, we're shooting for $75,000 funding limit. So we're still about $7,000 short of that $75,000 funding limit, or funding bogey, I should say. I'm feeling good about the money. I think we're doing pretty good. We could use another $7,000 to $10,000 to make me feel really good, but we're doing okay. Next slide. Get your checkbook out. Get your laptop out. There's how you give more money to the fund. Next slide. Questions?
Hey, Ray.
Yeah.
Ray. Charlie has, just said you wanted some more checks. Charlie has another check that he's going to give you.
This is from Vietnam Chapter 1067. Last night, John signed up 31 members to work, and we're not finished yet. And they were so enthused about this, and they asked me to, on their behalf, to bring you a check today for $500.
Wow. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. You want the money? I just want to tell everybody that, let me find my notes here real quick. That gives us, let's see, they've already given us $1,000, so that's now $1,500 from the Vietnam Vets Association. Thank you very much.
I didn't want to forget to mention that John will be here when we're finished. If you haven't signed and volunteered yet, he'll do it for you, and Jennifer's going to help. And also, if you want to make a donation, Jennifer can help there as well. So, thank you.
Next slide.
Next. Brian?
Several things before I get started on the sponsorships. Just to remind us all, one is, for those of you who know me know what I've done for the last 37 years, is I ran a nonprofit that looked with and provided services to and employment to people with disabilities, and we were in the service business. We had about 500 employees on Redstone Arsenal. I would just encourage you, if you are a coordinator for an area that are going to have volunteers that are going to be interfacing with the students or the general public, to remind them that we are in the customer service business, and that we want this to be a welcoming experience so that folks can learn and be open. And as a part of that, with the customer experience, language is an important thing. And particularly in the area of dealing with ADA and special education and people with disabilities, the term is people with disabilities, not handicapped. For a lot of people with disabilities, handicap is, you might as well use the N-word, you might as well use, it is a very offensive term, even though it is a legal term for handicap parking. But the term handicap comes from hat in hand to beg. And so for a lot of people with disabilities, that's an offensive term. And so if you're going to be working with students particularly who may have parents with them who have special needs, just be aware language is a very emotional thing for all of us. So we need to be aware of that and be conscious of that, and particularly all of us who are old codgers, and if an 11-year-old kid is not as respectful of the wall as we need to, our reaction might be a little more forceful than it might be. So just a reminder. Kudos to Mark Jacobson, my #1 sponsor referral. If you got sponsorship leads, give them to us. We're running close. We have not officially set a deadline, but we're probably looking at maybe the second week of October latest, because we got to get all these banners made. Here's the list. I will tell you, having been involved in local politics for 40 years, please take the opportunity, if you have an opportunity, to give the mayor and the city council and everybody in the city kudos. They're not having to do all the stuff they're doing. They have really gone out of their way. We give them a lot of crap when things go bad. If you see the mayor, tell him thank you. If you see your city council, tell them thank you, because it makes a big difference. Other things we all need to be doing. I just gave Charlie Miller a referral from my parish, from my church, because I took the initiative to put the stuff in about the Wallet Hills in our monthly and weekly newsletter, and already we've gotten a council referral, and 3 or 4 people have signed up. So seize those opportunities you have through clubs, fraternal organizations, your house of worship and whatnot to get the word out. And this is the current list. I think that is, that's current. So again, if you have referrals, if you have contacts, particularly with corporations, you get them to me, I'll send them the information, I'll do the follow-up. But oftentimes it is just knowing who at company A I need to talk to, because they're decision makers and there are people that work there. So, but again, we're running. We've got about 3 weeks left to be able to acknowledge those corporate sponsorships, and we certainly want to have it all done, because as Pete and Norm and others said, we want to do appropriate acknowledgments to people, whether they gave us in-kind stuff or whether they wrote us checks, because it's still money. So, any questions?
Let's give Brian a hand for all the hard work, all those companies up there. Brian, we appreciate the good work. Okay, next slide. Okay, Pete.
I don't have much to say after all that. You see all the hard work everybody's doing, all the support we're getting from you. Again, what Brian said, I can't thank the city enough for what they're doing. And if you get a chance, drive down to John Hunt Park. I try to get down there once or twice a month. Been a little arrears here the last couple of weeks, but these guys in the back there are doing a great job. And the mayor, the city manager, and Parks Rec Director, David, can't thank you enough for all you're doing, all his team back there. Know anybody that wants to volunteer, wants to donate, we got the final push coming up here. And we're like 45 days out now. So let's get there real quick. Got anything you need to contact us with, call John or I, or Norm or any of the other leads here, let us know what you need, what we can help you with. And again, I thank you for all your support, coming to these meetings and everything. Next meeting we're gonna have, John will cover that here in a minute, we're looking at making it 2 hours, so we can get some training in for everybody here too. So if you can make the schedule for 2 hours, we'd appreciate it.
Good, thank you, Pete. Once again, I want to thank everyone. Hey, we did a record time today. So next week, we're going to make up for it. We're going to add in a little more time. So 2-hour meeting next time, not next week, but next month. The date, next slide. And that one. Okay, next meeting, Friday, October 19th. The time, as Pete pointed out, 9 a.m. We'll start same time. And I'm going to 11. We've got a lot of stuff to cover. We'll go into more detail. There's some items that we did not cover today because, you know, they're still shaking and baking. So hopefully we'll finalize those next time around. So we'll give you a detailed report. You can take it back to your organizations, brief your people. We're getting down to the wire, or we will next month, next time meeting. Invite as many people as you think you need. I don't mind filling up the room. Anyone that has a need to know, invite them to come. Share the good word. So, okay, wall arrives on October 31st. You know, we keep on saying the 1st through the 4th. That's the official time the wall is open. We're actually setting the wall up on the 31st. We hope to do it between 8 and noon, I think. Is that what it is?
About 8 to 2, it's about a 6 hour event.
8 to 2. Okay, so that's when we're going to set up the wall. After that, we will be up and running, and we will go 24 hours from that day on. So, love to see you down there. Once again, we have intuitive volunteers, young people with strong backs who have volunteered to go ahead and set the wall up. We all agreed, or let's say Pete and I and Norm agreed, that we didn't want to throw our backs out and be flat on our back for the entire event. So we got some young people to set the wall up for us, so we can all be there and supervise and observe and everything else. So.
If other people want to come down, there'll be other things to do. I'm sure the operations log guy's going to need a lot of help. Zig probably needs some help getting final touches put on. So the wall PDMF people would like to see some Charlie Vietnam veterans out there, so we wear our colors and this. Set up a just be present, maybe not help as much as we think we could, but also just be in the area.
Yeah, we'll also leave it up to Harlan and the communications team, get some media coverage down there. So hopefully you'll be able to see it on TV that evening, and then hopefully we'll get good coverage throughout the week. We got something happening almost every day, including the day before. Now, the day before I get into Pete's round, that's when the wall is escorted into Huntsville. So that'll be on the 30th. Pete and his team are putting together a escort. They're going to meet out at the Harley-Davidson area. That's where hopefully we'll rendezvous with the wall. And then we're going to get some motorcycle groups and of course that's the vets out there. And they're going to convoy or escort the wall in the Huntsville side. It's going to be a big event. Love to have you out there when the wall arrives. If you don't have a motorcycle, whatever the case may be, just get out there and we'll have some flags that we can wave. So, someone have a question? Okay.
Yeah, John, you mentioned the 30th. That's when the volunteer training is from 1300 to 1500. If we're here for the meeting, your next meeting on 19 October, do we also have to be down there for that 30 October 1300 to 1500 session, or are we considered already trained?
Either one.
Either one, thank you.
That's Norm just said that, and that's Norm. Now, one thing before you leave, we got Jen and John here. If anybody wants to donate, wants to volunteer, they're here to help you get into the site and do that stuff, make it easy. Because if you're computer challenged like me, they help out a lot.
Oh, by the way, I signed you up for midnight and 4 a.m. 6 days.
Won't be the first time.
Don't worry.
No, go ahead, Mike.
One more thing, the professionals that do this for a living, on the 31st, after the wall is up, right after that, somewhere around 3 o'clock, and we have to confirm this yet with them, because they will conduct training too. There'll be more information for us. That's strictly about the wall and the way they operate. The other training we're doing is at one, and we'll have slides at all the different events. If you attend one of them and sign the attestation form and all, it doesn't matter which one you go to. We're trying to have enough of them to make it convenient for you.
Good. And hey, Norm, the gentleman back here, Randy, stand up, raise your hand. Norm, Randy would like to talk to you after the meeting, okay? He's active National Guard, so wants to know what the National Guard can do for you. Okay. Okay, any other questions? Once again, thank you. Oh,
Just one announcement, I'll put the
one
flyer
announcement.
for the St. Barbara's Day Ball on the table over there. We'd love to have you at the St. Barbara's Day Ball, all the ADA and our tournament. We'd love to have you there.
Very good. Okay, thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. Have a good week. We'll see you next month.